Steinhouse, and welcome to Money Chat Now. Money Chat Now is a politically charged stock market pre-show giving you the politics behind the biggest moves in the stock market. It is presented with comedic common sense by an expert in financial literacy. And hey, that's me, Larry Steinhouse. Today is Wednesday. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's Tuesday, June 7th. I'm so confused. I don't even know what day it is. I want to welcome you to the show, and we are here live on WWDB Radio 860 AM in Philadelphia, and we are live on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Of course, you can find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Truth Social, TikTok, and all those other social media sites by searching Larry Steinhouse. Hey, just a reminder, if you're watching online, hit that like button, hit that share button, and don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and like the Money Chat Now page on Facebook. That is, if you can still find the YouTube channel. Who knows? All right, you can comment live during the show on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. And please say hi so I know you're watching. A couple of people saying hi already. It looks like we've got, I can't even see it all. We got Michael and Ken and James and Bill and, of course, my lovely wife, Linda. Thank you so much for watching. I always appreciate you guys. And, of course, Joe as well. All right. Money Chat Now is brought to you by Investor Schooling, and you can attend a complimentary class this Thursday by going to investorschooling.com, and there you will learn about real estate investing and stock options trading from those who do it every day. And by the way, I got something special going on this Thursday, so if you've never been to a class, you want to come. If you have a mortgage, you want to go on Thursday because I'm going to be teaching you how to pay off your mortgage in less than half the time without putting any more money into your budget. So you want to show up for that. Definitely be a powerful class. I also want to remind you that today is Interview Tuesday. For our online audience, each Tuesday we bring you a great interview with interesting people and introduce you to their topics, their products, their services, or just their good intentions. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, you can go to thelarrysteinhouseshow.com/guest. That's thelarrysteinhouseshow.com/guest. Let us know why you want to be interviewed. And today we have Jessica DeMumbrum, who has invented a great new device to help those with disabilities. Check it out. I think you'll really enjoy it. All right, so today's show, of course, we're going to be discussing the futures update. We're going to be discussing the fact that New York banned Bitcoin mining. Welcome to China. And we're going to be discussing the Twitter deal investigation and, of course, an interview with the inventor, Jessica DeMumbrum. And we'll be talking about that in a little while. All right, guys, let's talk about the futures. Have you guys been paying attention? Come on, if you've been watching this show for a while, I kept saying the range of the Dow would be 31,000 to 33,000, and yesterday was proof again. When the day started out strong, it went as high as 33,250, but soon it fell, and the Dow teased us a few times as it went back into the red and bounced back, but finished up just a little bit, about 16 points up, or at 32,915. It could not break that $33,000 level. Amazon was the exciting play yesterday when it traded for the first time at a 20-for-1 split. The trade averaged about $125 a share, and I got to tell you, I got in with a small options play, and I'm looking for the stock to go to 130 by the end of the week or higher. I really like the play. This and Google are going to be my favorite new plays. The bond market is what stalled the stock market yesterday. Bond yields topped 3%, and that had investors spooked once again. You know, if I read yesterday's, remember yesterday's market report, if I read it, I actually, at the end of the show, it would read just like the day went. I mentioned the 33,000 top, and the bond rating would hit 3% and pull back the market. That's exactly what happened. It's exactly what I said was going to happen yesterday morning. I did get something wrong, though, yesterday. Apparently, the big Johnson got to keep his position as Prime Minister of the UK by a really narrow margin. You know, something interesting about this weekend was that he was booed as he entered the party for Queen Elizabeth. Wow. I'm just wondering if he was wearing a mask at that party. Anyway, he's still in charge, at least for now, and we'll see what happens. But back here in the U.S., we still have brain-dead Biden running the economy. However, it does look like there's some hope as inflation is starting to calm down and job openings are starting to lessen. It's a good sign, and the Fed may start easing their interest rates and start to work on the economy, and the economy will get back to normal. And boy, a guy named Joe Brusalis, a chief economist, said, in our estimation, it is likely to be the last robust employment report of the business cycle. By the way, I've been saying that for, 6 months now? Friday, we will have the CPI report that is the measurement of inflation and expected to be slightly lower number than the previous month. So that means that inflation is starting to slow down, at least that's what they're predicting. This should help the market, and the fears of inflation would stop continuing. Of course, gas prices keep rising, and that does affect inflation numbers. And we're going to see what happens at the end of the week. It's going to be rough. All this inflation is also causing the Social Security payments to rise. This is the only positive. Social Security beneficiaries saw the biggest cost of living adjustment in about 40 years in 2022 when they received a 5.9 boost to their monthly checks. It's possible that next year we'll see a cost of living increase benefit in Social Security as high as 8%. The cost of living increase, known as COLA, C-O-L-A, cost of living increase, had a record high increase in 1981 when it was boosted 11.2%. It's going to be interesting when the data is released. As usual, the Social Security fearmongers will report that the system is going broke and will run out of money soon. Look, it won't. Don't worry. I got to tell you, it's not going to happen. The solution might be that the Democrats will, tax the youngins more. And that's too bad, because if I grow older, all you Democrats, all you young Democrats who voted for this, who voted for the Democrats in there, and it's all their fault that we're running out of money, I don't care. They're going to tax you anyway, so thank you very much. Just for fairness, they should only tax those Democrats, but hey, that's life. All right, today we got a lot of interesting topics to cover, so let's take a look at the futures. Right now, the Dow is down 206. The S&P is down 30, and of course the NASDAQ is down 115. Oh boy, it's not going to be another pretty day. All right, real quick, couple of other people online saying hi. It looks like we got John and Tom and Michael and Rob. My brother Seth. Hey Seth, how are you? We got Mick, we got Dan, and of course we got everybody out there. Oh, my brother's saying he can't wait for Social Security to go up because he can use it. That's pretty funny. All right, New York. Let's talk about New York and Bitcoin mining. Have you ever seen the sign going into New York that says, "Welcome to New York"? Well, apparently it's going to be changed to "Welcome to China. Please leave your constitution and beliefs of freedom behind." Do you remember when China steamrolled all the Bitcoin mining machines? Honestly, it was about a year ago, and the president of China ordered all Bitcoin mining to stop and literally went into the Bitcoin mining setups and used steamrollers to crush the machines. These were some interesting videos. Well, I don't see the Dumbocrat leaders in New York actually getting out the steamrollers yet, but listen to this. Following an early morning vote when nobody was around in Albany last Friday, lawmakers in New York passed a bill to ban certain Bitcoin mining operations that run on, of course, carbon-based power sources. The measure now heads to the desk of Governor Kathy Hochul, who will sign the law or veto it. What do you think she's going to do? These crazies are banning Bitcoin mining because of the power it uses to run the computers that actually do the mining. So if Hochul signs the bill, it would make New York the first state in the country to ban blockchain technology infrastructure, according to Brian Boring, founder and president of the Chamber of Digital Commerce. Can you imagine being named Boring and then growing up to be the president of digital commerce? Anyway, Boring says this about the bill. This is a significant setback for the state and will stifle its future as a leader in technology and global financial services. More importantly, this decision will eliminate critical union jobs and further disenfranchise financial access to the many underbanked populations living in the United States. Okay, Boring, you also missed another important point, and that is the point of free enterprise and entrepreneurship. This communist in the state of New York will now ban entrepreneurship from those who want to take a challenge to better themselves. Well, this bill has a blowback from a lot of people, and yesterday the creator of the bill, you ready for this, Ann Kells, went on the defense to defend her brilliant communist manifesto against Bitcoin mining, and she said, "It's not a ban." Yeah. She pleaded, "It's like a 3-page bill, so wouldn't it be wonderful to just have people read it?" It often ends up being an interpretation based on emotions. Being who I am, I looked it up and I read the bill, looking for her point. Maybe she's right. Well, here it is in a nutshell. The first page contains articles A through E, which talks about how our climate our climate is being destroyed by fossil fuels, and we need to save the environment from fossil fuels. Oh no! The next section, well, let me read it to you. This is directly from the bill. Remember what she said? It's not a ban? Let me read the bill. For the period commencing on the effective date of this section and ending 2 years after such date, the Department, after consultation with the Department of Public Service, shall not approve a new application or issue a new permit pursuant to this article or Article 70 of this chapter for an electric-generated facility that uses carbon-based fuel and provides in whole or in part, behind-the-meter electric energy consumed or utilized by cryptocurrency mining operations that use proof-of-work authentication methods to validate blockchain transactions. I'm sorry, Assemblywoman, but that clearly says it's a ban on cryptocurrency. Duh. Or cryptocurrency mining, I should say, right? Oh, and it's a ban for only 2 years. Only 2 years. So even if this bill gets passed, it sounds like 2 years to flatten the curve. Where did we hear that before? This is what happens when you vote Democrat. If you continue, you will continue to lose your rights and your businesses. So it looks like New York will miss another opportunity to tax a business and make up for all the losses they lost when the other brain-dead Democrat pressed to have Amazon move to another state. Why? Why do people continue to vote for these idiots? Well, let's take a break here, and when we come back, we'll be discussing the latest developments with Twitter and what's going on with that and Elon Musk. See you guys in a minute.
Okay, so you thought about buying and selling real estate. You thought about investing in the stock market, but don't know where to start. Well, what if you could find a place to unlock strategies to master both real estate and the stock market, all without the headache? That place is Investor Schooling, hosted by Larry Steinhouse, an expert in real estate, financial literacy, and the ins and outs of the stock market. You can attend Investor Schooling in person or online 8 times a month. You can and will learn how to make money in real estate, and you will learn mastery of stock techniques such as options and covered calls. You will even get a chance to ask your one burning question to the stock option sultan, the master of picks and plays. Call today for free information and receive a complimentary pass to attend classes or register online at investorschooling.com. Don't delay. These passes are limited, so what are you waiting for? Call in today or visit investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com.
All right, welcome back to Money Chat Now. I'm your host, Larry Steinhouse. And of course, if you'd like more information on investor schooling, you can go to investorschooling.com or call 866-424-2829, 866-424-2829. And I want to thank you all for listening on WWDB Radio 860 AM in Philadelphia. And if you're watching online, please hit that share button. Come on, everybody, hit that share button. I see a bunch of new people online. Come on. It looks like Allison and Peter and Sal and Michael and Rob. Hit that share button. Scroll down, hit the share button, share it on your page, and share it in groups that you think will benefit from this great stuff. Hit that like button also. Let me know you enjoy the show. And leave comments on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube, and I will try to respond to them. So everybody out there, just say hi and leave some comments. All right. Hey, I also want to remind you that it is Interview Tuesday for our online audience. Each Tuesday, we plan to bring you a great interview with interesting people and introduce you to their products, their services, or just their good intentions. Hey, if you'd like to be a guest on the show, you can go to thelarrysteinhouseshow.com/guest. thelarrysteinhouseshow.com/guest. Let us know why you want to be interviewed, and I'm sure we can work that out. Today we have Jessica DeMumbrum, who has invented a great new device to help those with disabilities. You want to check it out. Stay tuned for this interview. All right. So far, of course, we've been discussing the futures update. Right now, the Dow is down 217, the S&P is down 32, and the NASDAQ is down 128. We talked about New York banning Bitcoin mining. Yeah, it's not a ban. Yes, it's a ban. No, it's a ban. No, it's not a ban. Yes, it is a ban. No, it's not a ban. It's a ban. Stop it. We also are going to be getting into, coming up, we're going to be talking about the Twitter deal. And, of course, we have that interview coming up with that great inventor. And then we have today's picks and plays. But first, did you guys hit that like button yet? Did you guys hit that share button? Come on, you guys promised me. Hit that share button. Don't forget to leave comments on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, or Twitter. And if you're listening on WWDB Radio, be sure and set a preset to the station and listen every day at 7:30. Also, look up Money Chat Now on Facebook when you get home and let me know what you think of the show. Hey, by the way, have you guys ordered my new book yet? Go wherever fine books are sold and look up Money Hacks by Larry Steinhouse. And you can get it on Kindle or Nook right now even. And you can get the physical book, and it can be pre-ordered for arrival in about 6 weeks. I would suggest you order the physical book because, hey, it might be worth something one day. I tell you what, it's definitely going to be worth the knowledge. All right, let's talk about what's going on with Twitter. Well, it seems that Elon Musk and Twitter are in the news again. And look, unless you've been living under a rock the past 2 months, you know that Elon Musk made a bold offer to buy Twitter. His goal was to set it free and bring back freedom of speech. Well, it just so happens that he also is a businessman, so I don't think it was all altruistic. I don't think you do either. It's all about making a nice profit. Well, it turns out that as he continued doing his due diligence in the company, he is finding out that many of the approximately 291 million users may in fact not be real. He claims they are spam bots. Twitter has an income model that comes from advertisers. Now, these advertisers pay a fee to have their ads placed on the site. Twitter has a predictable algorithm that calculates how many eyeballs see these ads based on how many users there are. Well, if the user is a spam bot, then that eyeball isn't real and it obviously isn't going to buy your advertised product. Elon Musk is claiming that Twitter's estimation of how many bots Twitter claims to have is much lower, or the estimation is much higher, obviously, than it actually is. Twitter claims that only 5% of its user base is bots. But Musk wants to know the real answer. I'll be honest with you, I want to know the real answer too at this point. I'm curious. This is becoming a real sticking point for the transaction, and Elon Musk accused Twitter of resisting and thwarting his right to information about fake accounts on the platform. In a letter to the company, his attorneys wrote that it's a clear material breach of the terms of their agreement. You must remember that in May, he announced that his $44 billion purchase of the company would not move forward until he had more information about the number of fake accounts on the service. Mr. Musk reserves all rights resulting therefrom, including his right not to consummate the transaction and his right to terminate the merger agreement. The letter signed by Skadden Arp's attorney, Mike Ritter, says, well, now that Musk has brought this to light, several other concerned citizens and investors are wondering the same thing. Were they misled by Twitter and the bots convinced to buy advertising or even invest in the stock? So do people buy stock of Twitter or invest because of the data? It may be. In Texas, check this out. Attorney Ken Paxson launched an investigation against Twitter for potentially false reporting over its fake bot accounts in violation of the Texas Deceptive Trade Practices Act. Paxson issued a civil investigation demand, and this will investigate whether Twitter's reporting is real versus fake, and whether they knew that they were doing false or misleading or deceptive practices under the law. Twitter has until June 27th to respond to Paxson's demand. Now, of course, being who I am, I read the demand letter, and frankly, it's pretty boring. However, it clearly demands Twitter to turn over all the data on Texas companies who advertise with Twitter and information they were given, along with being, whether they were coaxed into that advertising. Well, it looks like the establishment is finally getting their day to be exposed. I got to tell you, I'm watching this carefully. I do have some Twitter stock that I bought when Musk showed his cards that he might actually be walking away from the deal. I also sold the covered calls to make a quick 10% profit guaranteed in 6 weeks. By the way, how often do you make 10% profit guaranteed in 6 weeks? I'll tell you right now, I'm going to teach you how to do that if you ever come to investor schooling. My opinion is that Musk will go back and forth on this for a while and probably still buy the company. I suspect it'll be a discount. As Trump says, everything is negotiable and everything is renegotiable. It's in the art of the deal and obviously in the art of the tweet. By the way, I had a thought here. Do you think that if Musk buys Twitter, that Tesla will have Twitter on the dashboard? You can read the morning's tweets while the car self-drives you to work. That could be brilliant. Pretty wild, right? Hey, before the break, really quick, I want to remind you that today is Interview Tuesday for our online audience only. And each Tuesday, of course, we bring you a great interview. And I promise you that this is going to be a great interview as well. And of course, if you want to be on the show, go to thelarrysteinhouseshow.com/guest. That's thelarrysteinhouseshow.com/guest. Let us know why you want to be interviewed. And today, of course, we have Jessica DeMumbrum, who has invented a great new device to help those with disabilities. You want to check this out. It's actually pretty brilliant. All right, stay tuned. We'll see you in a minute. Hi, I'm Larry Steinhouse, and I've written a book called Money Hacks. The subtitle to this book is Because Everything You Think You Know About Money is Wrong, and I promise you there are things you think about money that are wrong. There are chapters in this book that I think you will find absolutely fascinating, and some of them are, what is money anyway? Can money buy happiness? I'll bet you don't know the answer to that question. The truth about credit scores, how you can actually use credit cards to rebuild your credit. I also have chapters on being your own bank, how to buy houses with an IRA, and how to invest with other people's money. There are so many other chapters. There are 22 total chapters in this book, and I promise you're going to learn how to make more money and pay less taxes when you buy this book. My name is Larry Steinhouse. The name of the book is Money Hacks. You can get this book wherever fine books are sold, and you can go to barnesandnoble.com right now and pre-order it. I hope that you will enjoy it. Welcome back to Money Chat Now. I'm your host, Larry Steinhouse. By the way, did you guys order this book yet? Order this book. It's great. I promise you're going to love it. If you don't like it, I'll even give you your money back. How's that? All right, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and order it. By the way, a couple of people joined us online. Looks like James and Charles also joined us. Thanks, you guys. I always appreciate everybody watching. I always appreciate you guys saying hi. I know there are a few others out there that haven't said hi, so if you want to just say hi, say hi. All right, so far we've been discussing the futures update. Right now the Dow is down 207. The S&P is down 37, and the NASDAQ is down 126. We talked about the fact that New York is banning Bitcoin mining, but they're not banning Bitcoin mining, according to the person who wrote the bill. They're just banning Bitcoin mining, but they're not saying they're banning Bitcoin mining. I mean, really? We talked about Twitter and Elon Musk and how Elon is saying, look, they're all bots. I'm not buying a user base of bots. I want to buy a user base of people. By the way, how many people have been slammed with bots? I get slammed with bots all the time. Look at that. I had Wendy say hi. I made Wendy say hi. Wendy's online, and she said hi because I told her to say hi. Everybody else out there, say hi if you haven't already. All right, coming up today, we have today's picks and plays. But did you guys hit that like button yet? So if you're watching online, hit that like button. Hit that share button. Hit the share button, scroll down, share it on your page, or share it in groups that you know that might benefit from the information. And also, of course, you can leave comments on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, or YouTube. Michael just made me laugh. He wrote, Biden is a bot. No, I think bots are much more intelligent than Biden, Michael, so I don't think so. All right, if you're listening on WWDB Radio, set one of your presets to this station and listen every day at 7:30 for all you need to know about the politics behind the stock market. All right, and we got Deborah saying hi, too. Thank you, Deborah. All right, let's talk about some great tips for the day. All right, it's another scary day starting up again. We have the Dow on the cuffs of what I continue to believe the current high is 33,000. So it's right there. It continues to bounce off this point. I kind of fear it's going to move back to the other side of the range shortly, and that will be, as I said before, about 31,000. We are technically moving to the other side of the dead zone. So if this is basically a theory I teach, and it should be the end of this week. So if you want to learn about the dead zone, come to Investor Schooling. And if you want to understand that pretty much by Friday, we probably have a nice Friday to end the week. Yesterday, I sent a text message to my student when Meta hit 189, and I said it was a buy. It jumped 4 or 5 points very shortly after that, and it proved to be a great play. And especially if it was a stock option, that would have been awesome. What's happening this week is a simple sentiment. This is simply that sentiment is muted because of really no U.S. economic data releases and a quiet Federal Reserve in blackout period. So they're not going to be talking right now. There are also no earnings reports of major company. So the market waits until a catalyst reignites it. That should be next week. We should get the Fed CPI report at the end of the week, and that will actually put a fire on the market. According to CNBC, the problem is investors are assessing whether the recent bounce in stocks is a bear market rally or has the market reached a bottom from this year's sell-off. Me, I look at the charts. I see the range lowering every month And by the way, I got to tell you, I really like Amazon at the price. I believe 150 will be where investors will put on the brakes. I like the stock, and I like the stock option as a speculation play. Google will also be the next move as repaired for the next 20 to 1 split, and it'll happen sometime next month. All right, let's take a final look at the futures. Right now, the Dow is down 215. I'm telling you, it's coming off that 33,000. The S&P is down 34, and the Nasdaq is down 142. All right, let's get into some crypto here. So it looks like all the gains in Bitcoin yesterday, pretty much quickly washed away as the cryptocurrency dropped back to 30,000 again. Actually, it dropped below 30,000 again. Ethereum moved back to about 1,700, and the cryptos are falling back slowly. Now, I will tell you, now that I'm seeing this chart movement, my prediction is Bitcoin hits 22,000 within the next 10 days. Write it down. A couple of people online saying hi, like Glenn and Joe. Write it down. Write down that Bitcoin will hit 22,000 within the next 10 days. Sorry, but I think the days of over 30,000 are now numbered, at least for now. So, see if my prediction is right. Gold and silver are still around 1850 and 22, and these numbers have been the same each morning for about 2 weeks now. I don't know. My suggestion, keep buying it. Keep buying silver. I've given you my reasons several times. I think silver is going to be the best place for you to be right now. Let's talk about Treasury bonds. So the Treasury bond is moving up, and they're above the 3% yield. This was one of the things that spooked the market yesterday. I would expect the market to react again when the rate goes up above 3.25%, and it's probably going to come soon. It may even come today. Oil prices are moving down on a rumor that the Saudis will agree to ramp up production, but I don't think so. The barrel price is now $1.19, and the price of gasoline average has moved up again to $4.92 a gallon. Let's all give a cheer. Let's go, Brandon. Nice job. Hey, I love it, man. Breaking records all the time there, Joe Biden. Breaking records. I love it, right? All right, I want to remind you, of course, that today is Interview Tuesday for our online audience. Each Tuesday, we plan to bring you great interviews with interesting people and introduce you to their products, their services, or just their good intentions. Of course, if you want to be interviewed, go to thelarrysteinhouseshow.com/guest. That's thelarrysteinhouseshow.com/guest. Today, Jessica DeMumbrum. She has invented a great new device to help those with disabilities. I'm telling you, you want to watch this. It's going to be pretty cool. I also want to thank the listeners on WWDB Radio 860 AM in Philadelphia. I want to thank you for your continued support. And if you're enjoying the show, please reach out and let us know. My name is Larry Steinhouse. I am the host of Money Chat Now. I am also the CEO of Investor Schooling. And if you want to contact me directly, you can go to contactlarry.com. That's contactlarry.com. All right, for you guys listening on the radio, have a profitable day. The rest of you guys, stay online. I'm Larry Steinhouse, and welcome to today's Money Chat Now interview. In this portion of the show, I take the opportunity to interview interesting people and introduce them to your products, their services, or just their good intentions. If you'd like to be a guest on my show, you can go to the LarrySteinhouseshow.com/guest and let me know you want to be interviewed. That's the LarrySteinhouseshow.com/guest, and we'll see if you could be a great interview. All right, today we have a special guest. She is an assisted caregiver, and she's been one for many years. And while helping others as a caregiver of the handicapped and the elderly, she became frustrated by the trouble they had using utensils while eating meals. She gave this some thought, and that attributed it to her idea of designing an ergonomic handle. With that, I would like to introduce my special guest today. Her name is Jessica DeMumbrum. All right, Jessica, how are you?
I'm good. Good morning. How are you?
I am great. I'm so excited that you're here. So, very little, and I know very little about you, which is kind of neat. It's kind of interesting that, I'm doing an interview with you, and I know very little about you. So tell me a little bit about the fact that, again, that you were a caregiver, and, and what happened? So you were a caregiver, most of your people were handicapped or elderly. Tell me a little bit about that career.
Okay. Well, being a caregiver, most of my clients were elderly, but I had a couple handicapped, and I had done some jobs in college that I helped people that are handicapped. And sometimes people need help being fed, and several things come into play here. One, sometimes a caregiver can't make it to their shift, so they have to have a fill-in. And so if you have a client that needs to be fed, and now a stranger is in your house and they're trying to feed you, that's really awkward. It's uncomfortable for them. As nice as a caregiver can be, trying to make somebody feel comfortable, if they don't know you, feeding them is awkward, and they don't eat as much. And then the frustration and the independence of having somebody else feed you when you would prefer to feed yourself. Think of how you would like to be treated. It's much better to eat your own food, and you just bettering your life. It's much more enjoyable. It's much more fulfilling to be independent and to feed yourself and to feel like a baby or something and have to rely on somebody. So I watched as people would try to feed themselves and how difficult it was, whether it was because they had a lack of strength or dexterity, or they shaking, the food would fall off their fork. And, it just was frustrating for some people. And I just had this idea of how to fix that.
So I'm curious. So tell me a little bit about, so people have eating problems. So I had an uncle who, also he had a full-time caregiver, and she would put food in front of him, and he was very ornery. He hated it when she fed him. He would say, "Leave me alone. Let me feed myself." And I can totally understand that. I already know that that's going to be me if I'm in that situation. I mean, I like, for the last couple of weeks I had a really bad back, and just bending over to tie my shoes would make me scream. That's how painful it was. And no matter what, I would let my wife tie my shoes, because I'm like, no, I'm doing it myself. I'm going to do it myself. So I'd imagine that these people are just like that. Is that so?
It's absolutely they want that independence. They don't want to be, baby coddled, whatever. And I had been watching this thing on TV, and this is something I hadn't thought of before. A younger man, he was 32, I think, he'd been in a car accident. And recovery time, it took him 6 to 8 weeks to recover. So here's this young man who is needing to be fed again. So again, you don't have to be just elderly or permanently handicapped. It's, just temporary sometimes. It's a loss of being an adult and being on your own. And,
sure.
And the other side of it, you're going through something that's horrible, and you're trying to keep yourself independent, but the caregivers, they're trying to help, and it can be difficult on the caregivers too, because they're, your wife's trying to help you, your caregiver's trying to help you, and it's tough on everybody.
Oh, I would imagine too. I imagine just the idea of being a caregiver has got to be very difficult. It's got to be very frustrating. It's got to be, I hate to use the word lonely, but not lonely. More like, I don't know, more like you're meeting somebody that you've met for the first time. As the first time you go there, and then all of a sudden you become very close to them. And I imagine that these people also pass away, and then you're grieving just like the rest of the family.
Yes. Yeah, and the caregivers tend to get overlooked. It's a high burnout job. You do feel underappreciated. A lot of this, and as a caregiver, you have to understand that a lot is going to be expected of you, and like zero recognition. But you have to know that going in. Right.
And then you've been doing it for how long again?
Oh, on and off, kind of my whole life. When I was a little kid, I started out by going over the neighbors, and they'd have me go out and pick their tomatoes and climb their peach tree. Wow. They'd give me a couple quarters or a piece of candy for doing that. And then through high school, in college, and just when I was in church, if I saw an older person, I'd go over and say, "Hey, do you need help grocery shopping?" And then I actually did it as a living for about 7 years. And I don't know why it's hard to get 40 hours a week. Okay. So it wasn't
So you weren't
enough. I had to get
you would do it shift work, not as a living.
Yeah. So if you get somebody, maybe you get 2 hours every other day or 4 hours every 3 days. You're not really getting 40 hours a week. So that was tough, not having like a full-time job, really.
So I'm actually curious. So is there anyone that stands out that you could talk about? Obviously not mention that person's name, living or dead, whatever. That really stands out that you got really close to.
Yes. I don't think they'll mind if I say her name. They're really good friends. She's passed away now, but
just use
Daisy.
the first name though. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, Daisy.
Okay.
Daisy was a lady that I've gotten very close to, and she became a mentor of mine.
Wow.
She's actually a mentor.
That sounds fascinating.
Yeah, she became a mentor of many people. She was a person I'd met at church. Her husband hadn't passed away yet, but they had put him into a care facility, so she was still alone. And I would take her to her hair appointments every other week, and she loved, her favorite was Arby's. So I take her to Arby's. Oh, I'm sorry, Carl's Jr.
What's she order?
Carl's Jr. Yeah, so it was a big treat for her, for us to go through Carl's Jr. And it was just, I really got to know her very well, and she was so full of wisdom. She was 86. She had 3 husbands pass away on her. She had children. She worked her whole life. She'd actually gotten educated in construction, and she built part of their house.
Wow.
I mean, and she became very special to me. And she passed away.
So when you say she was your mentor, what things did you learn from her?
Patience.
Really interesting.
Yeah, patience. Not, if you really want something, you have to stick with it. Patience. Not to judge people quickly, but to understand them.
Wow, great. That's fantastic.
Yeah. And I learned things from her that I learned. She was a great, great lady. But once she retired, she sat and watched TV all day.
No.
And she got to the part that she couldn't walk.
No, I'm
She put herself in a wheelchair. So I learned from her not to exercise.
To exercise.
to
Sure.
exercise,
right.
to take better care of myself. And I don't mean that in a negative way on her, but I learned a lot from her, talking to her, and I learned a lot from her watching her. And never let your body go. Take care of yourself.
So I see in your face that you went there. You went to her. Where were you just now? You were in her room in Arby's. Where were you?
Oh, sitting at her kitchen table, talking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I know we're off topic, but you know what? I'm really enjoying this.
Yeah.
What was what topic was she talking about when you were in your head right now? Do you remember?
Oh, well, she told me about growing up, her parents. She told me about when she met her first husband. His first wife died in childbirth, and that was hard on him.
Wow.
A couple years later, he met her, and then they had 2 kids, and just jobs she had, places they traveled. Him dying, her second husband, he died. Just about life and her experiences.
Okay, great. So so I see that you getting a little choked up. I can imagine that you have several stories like this. Obviously, I don't want to get every one of them, but I can imagine you have several stories like this. It must be very difficult to be in that position as a caregiver. And
It is.
Getting to know these people closely, and then does the family.
Yeah.
So when like Daisy passed on, did the family thank you? Did the family bring you in as family just for a day or two? Just like at a funeral?
Yeah.
Or okay, great.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, her family did. I actually knew her family, her daughter-in-law. They're very good people, but that's kind of rare. Yeah.
Got it. All right. Well, wow. So now you're having frustrations feeding these people, and so what was that like? You're feeding these people. You're finding it difficult to feed them, or you're watching them and you're frustrated. Tell me what happened next.
Well, as a caregiver, if I have a 2-hour shift and I've got to help feed them, straighten up their house, go grocery shopping for them, I don't have adequate time to sit and talk with them. and you wind up, to make sure they eat all their food, you unintentionally wind up trying to rush them, and that was frustrating for them. But they would, you give them a plate of food and you say goodbye and leave. So actually having it, doing it as a friend is easier than doing it as a job, because as a job I gotta be at somewhere else in 30 minutes. Yeah, sure. So to just leave them with a plate of food and run out the door, it just didn't feel right, because you don't know if they ate it all. They were having a hard time eating, and their plate is left there. I didn't feel. It's just the way it is.
Okay, so you created an ergonomic handle. So tell me about this ergonomic handle.
Okay, so I saw people struggling to hold a spoon and fork, because it's, you hold it between your fingers. But so I invented this. It would seem that it would be easier for them to eat if they could have something to grab, like this. Right. So I came up with an invention. I made it in the kitchen. I have it patented, and it looks like this. Okay. You can see the shadowing.
Sure.
See the shadows, the fingers?
Yeah, sure. So it just looks like it's a mold to a hand.
Yeah, it just fits right in your hand like this. And it worked out better than I thought, because once I actually made it and the original dried and everything, when you put it in your hand, it's in my hand, but I'm not holding it. It's just resting in my hand. Right. Very good. It doesn't, you can do it, yeah. It just doesn't fall out of my hand, and it's very light. And this is a prototype, so it's not the final plastic, but it's going to be dishwasher, microwave safe, and the plastic gets like a plastic plate, almost unbreakable. I have to be careful with this one. But so it effortlessly fits into your hand, and you can't drop it. It's just impossible to drop unless you open your hand. So the spoon, the fork.
Oh, you made the fork. Okay, cool. Yeah, I was going to ask you that next too. So have you actually handed it to some of your, the people you take care of, and had them try it? And what was the reactions?
So I have this other lady from my church, her name is Helen. She's left-handed, and I didn't know she was left-handed until I went and took these over to her house, and she was getting ready to try them out, and she goes, "Oh, I'm left-handed." I was like, "Oh, cool."
That's funny.
So I gave her the left-handed one. Okay. And she tried them. She used them for 3 days, and I went back, and she gave me a 1-minute testimonial on them.
Oh, that's awesome! I wish I would have known. I would have been able to play it, but I can't play it now. But that's great.
Oh,
tell me what you said.
I'm sorry. Well, she described how she used it for her salads and for her soups and applesauce. She said it fit very comfortably in her hand. She said it was easier to use than a utensil.
That's great.
And she said, "I can't wait till Jessica gets these on the market. It's going to be so helpful to everybody."
That's pretty awesome. Okay, so tell me about it. So you made it out of what? You made it out of clay, right? I'm just thinking of.
I made it out of clay.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, great, awesome. And then so like then you did patent it right now, because all my listeners are going to steal the idea if you didn't.
Yeah, I have a patent.
Okay, that's awesome. And then, so where's it now? So basically, where's it sitting? What's going to happen next?
Okay, yeah. So I hit a snag. This is the prototype. It's not a strong plastic. It's not food safe. It's just for showing. But right now, this is what they call organic. If you look at it real close, you can kind of see where I used my hand to mold it, so you can see like kind of prints, like how you have the wrinkles in your hands. You can see, other than the fingerprints and the thumbprint, which is what you need, there's other, lines in it. So I keep, it's kind of a small project. And when I take it to people, it kind of gets put on the back burner. And I've sat around and waited, and people go, I haven't gotten to it yet. So being an inventor, if you've waited 4, 5, 6 months for somebody to do something, as an inventor, you gotta step in and say, "Hey, can I have that back? I gotta move on." Right. And they've been very polite. They've understood. They're like, "I'm sorry." So I keep running into people who I give this to. They love the idea, and they're ready to go in there and smooth out those edges and take it from organic, which is to a smooth product that is ready for sale. So I'm actually still looking for somebody who can do that part.
So I'm curious. You did that. You just basically took a piece of clay, you molded it, and that was the end of it. So, have you gone to a manufacturer and said, "Hey, can you make one?" Or,
no, not yet. I just took it to a 3D printer who made this for me.
Oh, okay.
And I'm looking for somebody who can take it that step farther, 3D it again, and smooth out the edges so it's. Yeah, sorry.
I see you. I hear you have a cat.
Yeah.
That's all right.
That's a girl.
Does your cat approve?
Does she what?
Does she approve of your ergonomic?
Oh, she loves it. Oh yeah, yeah, she loves it.
Good, excellent. All right. So you have a really good idea. You patented it, right? And now you kind of stuck with what to do with it. So, I do a lot. I talk a lot about money. I talk a lot about raising money, and so I'm curious. Have you gone to people that you've known and said, "Hey, can you help me raise some money to create this and market it?"
Yeah, everybody loves the idea, but nobody's really wanting to invest.
Okay. So what do you think you need to do this? It doesn't sound like it should be a lot of money.
Well, each mold, there has to be a right hand, left hand mold.
Sure.
They're small, medium, and large. This is the medium, this is the small. And each mold is minimum $5,000.
Okay, to create the mold, okay.
And then, yeah, and that's the expensive part, and then the plastic should be the cheap part. I'm looking for about $100,000 to start.
I'm sorry.
I might just about $100,000 to start.
I'm curious. So I actually I actually coach students on this. So I'm gonna take you through a little coaching program right now. So
okay.
why do you think you need $100,000 if you need $5,000 to create a mold?
To make enough.
Okay.
To make enough that if I don't get an order, I fall short of that order.
But you have no orders yet. All right, you ready? I'm going to help you out here a bit. We're going to take this off
okay.
into a different direction. So I'm going to help you out here. So the first thing I want you to do, honestly,
okay.
So you say it's about $5,000. Have you actually gone to a molding company and actually said, how much is it? All right, great.
That's what they told me.
So have you hired them?
No.
To make at least one?
They won't do. They won't make a $5,000 mold to make me one.
No. I'm talking about make a $5,000 mold to make the mold that they can make you more.
Oh, they'll do it, but I have to be able to pay them.
Well, okay. So I mean, because $5,000 is a lot easier to find than $100,000. So I would start finding. I would start with finding someone who says, "Hey, listen, I'm really interested in your idea. Let's partner up on it, and and let's make the molds. Let's start with it, right?" Now, I'm going to make another suggestion. As soon as you do that, get some orders. Go talk to nursing homes and see if they're interested. Have you looked to see if there's any competition, if anybody has anything like it yet?
There is competition, but not like this.
Okay, no,
it's all there.
That's why I asked. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. There's these. They're made out of stainless steel, and it almost looks like brass knuckles. You put your hand in it, but it's one size fits all. Okay. What if your hand doesn't fit? So if your hand is real.
Have you ordered them and taken a look at them?
Just pictures on the internet.
So I might even suggest, especially if you're going to be competing with them, I might even suggest ordering them and having your friend who liked yours say, "Hey, which one do you like better?" Because that might even be another great testimonial.
Okay.
And then, so here's a couple of things I'm going to suggest that you do. By the way, and I'm not going to talk about your financial situation, but if you happen to have credit cards or any equity in your house or anything like that, you might want to say, "Hey, listen, I'm all in on this. I'm going to take this. I'm going to take this leap." When I'm sitting here and I'm doing my show right now, I took this leap. I took a leap of faith and I created a show that I don't know if anybody's going to watch. But I do know that when I do this show, people are watching it, they're enjoying it. There's other parts of the show. I don't know if you've ever seen the show before, but there's other parts to it. It's exciting, and I'm just doing it because I believe in it. So I want you to do the same thing with your ergonomic handle. I want you to believe in it. I want you to believe in it so badly that you would believe that it's okay to live on the streets to make this thing happen. I know that's kind of a weird place to go, But that's what I want you to do if you're going to believe in this that badly. I want you to talk to friends and say, look, yeah, eventually I want to raise $100,000, but right now I need $5,000 to make the first mold, just to make a proof of concept, and then make that proof of concept and make it work. Get yourself to believe in it, get your friends to believe in it, get people with just a little bit amount of money to believe in it. You know, I'm sure that you have friends that would give you $500 or $1,000 or $2,000. You could also go to Kickstarter. I don't know if you've ever been to a program called Kickstarter. Actually, I would recommend you go to Kickstarter right now after this interview. Go to Kickstarter and, you know, start looking into how they did that. I had a really good friend of mine who made a movie, and he made a movie on Kickstarter. He actually raised all the funds to make his movie on Kickstarter. A year and a half later, he put out a beautiful 90-minute film. It was absolutely fantastic. So these are some of the places you can go. So it really depends on how much you believe in this product and how badly you want it to happen. If you do, I promise you it's going to happen. In fact, I'm even going to say, not yet, but as you start getting closer, I want you to talk to me again, and I want to see if I can help you even push it to the next level, because I believe that you have a really good idea here. I just think you're stuck in your own heads thinking, oh, nobody's going to believe in me, nobody wants to do it, you know, nobody wants to give me the money. Stop thinking you need $100,000. You don't. All you need, I'm going to promise you right now, all you need is the desire to put it out there. If you have that desire to put it out there, I promise you, you're going to come up with the way to do it. You ever read a book called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill?
Yes.
All right, read it again.
Okay.
Read it again, and I want you to think about this interview, because that's going to be the difference for you. That's what's going to make this work for you. Jessica, you are awesome. I actually really appreciate you. Hey, if anybody wants to get a hold of you and maybe help you with this product, how can they help you, and how can they get a hold of you?
Would you like my phone number or my email?
Whatever you want, whatever you feel comfortable giving.
Okay, my phone number. Please text. I don't answer my phone when it rings.
Okay.
760-608-1595. My email is jdmum.rfm, Ralph Frank Mary, @yahoo.com.
That's awesome, Jessica. You're an awesome guest. I appreciate your time, and we will hopefully find out more about you in a little while. All right, real quick.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're so welcome, and I'm so excited that you were on today, and I'm really happy about your product. All right. All right. So good. We'll talk to you. Hopefully, we're going to find out more about you. All right. I want to thank everybody else for watching the show. My name is Larry Steinhouse, and I am the host of Money Chat Now. Money Chat Now is live every morning at 7:30 a.m. and you could find us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. And if you'd like to be a guest on our show, you can go to thelarrysteinhouseshow.com/guest. thelarrysteinhouseshow.com/guest, and let us know why you want to be interviewed right? Hey, we hope you enjoyed today's interview with Jessica, and we hope you tune in again. Hey, make it a profitable day.